Welcome back to Ultra Uncovered. I'm Russell Ditsworth, and I'm joined in studio by Corinne Shalvoy.
Yeah.
So it's Corinne Shalvoy. And we are here today to talk a little bit about a couple races that we just completed. So our own personal experiences with some late spring races that we both completed. We were both there at Black Canyon this year in an late winter race.
Yep.
Me in the 100k and you in the 50k.
Yep.
You've done another 50k, and then we've now just completed races in the last 2 weeks here.
Yeah. Longish.
Pretty long.
Yeah.
Pretty long races. So we'll get into what those are, but I just wanted to say that we're this is kind of that first part of the season that we're really kind of developing and getting ready for a summer racing season and just those things. And it's a good point in the season to be able to kind of recap how it fits into our seasons, into our schedules, and just hear about those experiences, because I think that the races are pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also it's not always the case. I've had years where I've had an injury in the January, February timeframe and not been able to really start a season. And so I feel like we're also both pretty fortunate that we've been able to get actually quite long efforts in at this point in the year. I mean, it is April 23rd.
Yep.
But in the scheme of things, that's kind of just the start of everything. And we've already raced a few times, and yeah, it's been good. So
definitely feels good.
Yeah.
The 2 longest races that I've done this early in the season ever. So that's been good.
Yeah, I think probably me too, close to that. I mean, Black Canyon 100k for sure, but I don't know. We should, as we go through this, look into how many miles we've run so far this year. Because I feel like I saw somebody. How many did you get last year total, Russ?
Total, I was just over 2,400.
Okay, and I was around 2,600. So I kind of would like to beat that this year, but I'm curious where I'm at right now. And I think I saw somebody that I know and follow post that they were at 1,000 miles already, and I'm like, whoa, that's
a lot of work.
That's solid.
You break it down by quarter, right? If we just finished the first quarter at the end of March. And so if you're shooting for 2,600 miles, 2,400 miles, that's 650.
Yeah.
So I think you're tracking ahead of
that. You think? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll to be determined.
You can check Strava.
For sure. Always Strava. If it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. All right, so we're going to start with talking about a race that you did. It is called the Bull Run Run. And this is not something you told me early in the year, I'm going to run a Bull Run 50 miler with my brother.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about how that came to be that you were going to do this with your brother. And it is an East Coast race, so you certainly had to travel for it. What's the backstory on how it came on the radar?
So my brother lives in Virginia Beach, and he has recently found a great running group of friends. And like any good running group of friends, they have become a bad influence on his race decisions. And a few of them have run ultras. A few of them have run like JFK. And so Steven started looking for an ultramarathon. He proposed, hey, Russ, if I sign up for this, will you sign up for it and come out and run this 50 miler with me? And I already had Black Canyon on the calendar, and this is 2 months after Black Canyon. It's called Bull Run 50 miler. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. You want to do this? I am in. Let's absolutely run this thing. So I committed to it and made those arrangements, and really, with the early season, had kind of Black Canyon on the mind, and just like knowing that like, hey, this training for Black Canyon is going to help support whatever I'm doing later in the year. And so I had a couple months in between there. And we can talk a little bit about the training leading up if we want. My brother floated a couple training plans by me, and he had a lot of long runs in there. I was like, man, just get out, get some consistent running in. He did great. He did a great plan himself. We'll talk more about that too.
How long has he been running?
So he actually ran a marathon before I did. He ran the Seattle Marathon back in 2005, I think. And so he was kind of into distance running while I was still playing soccer. I started, doing more long distance events and trail events maybe 10 years ago. And since then, he started to have smaller children, maybe not doing so much running, things like that, doing other activities. But recently getting back into it, he's done really well, stayed really healthy, like built up in a smart way. I kind of got him on, some nutrition and I sent him a feed care package at one point to let him try a bunch of different gels and things like that. Oh yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah.
So it was great, and it's been a way for my brother and I to connect and spend that day. We spent 11 hours and 30 minutes together, which was fantastic. So we can get into that too, but that's kind of the precursor of how that fit into my schedule this year. Black Canyon early in the year. I've got some other goals, some other performance goals and things like that, but I could not say no to running an ultramarathon with my brother.
For sure. This was his longest. Was this his longest?
Yep. Every step after a marathon. So we had to got to have that fun conversation. Nice. Every step after a marathon is a distance PR.
Yep.
So that was great fun out on the course, talking to people. And, he was like, yeah, this is my first ultra. And then everyone's like, oh, you trying a 50 miler for your first one? He's like, yeah. Wanted to really go for it. So it's great.
That's amazing. Just double the distance. Okay. So tell us a little bit about like the course and like the environment. And I've heard you on multiple occasions wanting to recommend that this be a race that's nominated to have the designation of Old School Ultra. Why do you think that? Tell us about the environment. Did it feel old school? And then tell us a little bit about kind of just like what the course was, and then we'll talk about the day.
Sure. So Bull Run 50 miler put on by the Virginia Happy Trails Run Club, a well-established running club in the DC area, the Virginia area. This is the 31st running of the Bull Run 50 miler. So it is a well-established race. And that to me is kind of the precursor of like, you gotta have history with the race. That's part of what, being an old school ultra is. It's located outside of Washington, DC. So it's in Virginia, Clifton, Virginia, Manassas, Virginia, that area, along the Bull Run Occoquan Trail. Runs right along the Bull Run River, the Occoquan River. It's named differently along different parts. And the course itself is a double out and back. So there's about 25 miles of trail, continuous trail, and you travel on it with a few little loops and things like that. You do a northern loop, and then you do a southern loop, but it's basically a double out and back. So you actually see competitors a lot throughout the day with the little loops and things like that, and the people around you. And it's a very, very well-supported race. The run club there supports it with great aid stations. After the first aid station, which is 7 miles out, you don't go more than 5 miles without an aid station.
Nice.
For 50 miles.
Wow.
Some of them you're hitting twice, like, they've got it set up, and they've just got this thing so well dialed. Like you go down onto the trail, and there's markings that are pointing you in the right direction, and then as you come back, the markings have shifted so that they're pointing you the correct way along the trail. They've really dialed it in. I had it loaded on my watch, and as I came to a few intersections that looked a little different than the first time I saw them, I was trusting of the markings, but I was also verifying with my watch, and I was like, nope, this is right. This is exactly it. They must have seen the whole group through, and then
really
shifted them through. It is very impressive. The race director, it was a first-year race director. Okay. Her name is Lauren Gabler Masterson. She did a fantastic job.
Yeah, shout out Lauren.
Shout out Lauren, great job. We met and talked a little bit at the finish line. And
is that one of your pictures on Strava?
It is one of the pictures on Strava. And she must have been with the club for a long time, but like it just was so seamless, and they knew exactly what to do, exactly where to point the runners, how to support the runners at the various aid stations, things like that. So it is a 50 miler that does have vert. It's in an area that's, relatively flat on the East Coast, but you never go below 100 feet mean sea level. You never go above 300 feet, but it's kind of death by 1,000 cuts. You got 5,000 feet of vertical gain. Everything on a normal 5 miler, you wouldn't think twice about running every step. But there were certainly some climbs in there and some little dips and things like that where we were taking walk breaks, and especially later in the race, I was more than happy when Stephen wanted to walk a little bit to take a little break and get a walk. But one of the things that I like to say is that we never, collectively, we never conceded to the death march. We were always waiting for that next opportunity to run and to move a little quicker, and always moving our way through the field. So that felt good.
That's awesome.
Throughout the day.
Nice. Nutrition, how's the weather? Did it, was it humid? Was it hot? What was it like? Did you have to make any adjustments? Just humid. So
weather was good. It was a little bit overcast. It was warm as, April. The race is always in early April. They time it around the northern section. There's a field of bluebell flowers that are just fantastic. And it's like miles of these bluebell flowers around the river. And you do a loop through it. And so they time the race around that. But they've had snow at this race. They've had rain at this race. They've had high heat. This was kind of a medium to high heat year, according to the folks that were there. That were like, it feels warm. It's a warm year. For me, I just felt the humidity. I don't know. I don't think there's a solution for sticky hands. But if there is, please let me know. Put it in the comments, because towards the end and the last 20 miles, I could not get my hands, and it was driving me crazy. It was in my head at that point.
You needed a wet wipe or something.
Yeah, that could have worked, or something dry.
The towels you get after you eat lobster.
The little wet wipe.
Yeah, those things.
Maybe that would be it's like the toothbrush in the middle of the race.
That is annoying.
That refreshing thing.
Hands are sticky.
I just couldn't get over it. I asked somebody, and they were like, wipe it on your skin. And I was like, how is that going to work? I think he thought I had a gel stuck to my hands. I was like, no, it's just humidity.
Yeah, interesting.
Pretty wild. One of our strategies, though, was, since we were running this together, I was like, hey, we're going to take our time at aid stations.
Nice.
And so we did, and I recounted, we had an hour and 15 minutes
of stoppage time. I mean, you got the most out of it.
So we got the most out of it. But what was really funny is we keep repassing the same people out on course, which to me felt good, because that meant our moving pace was good. So we had something to feel good about there. It was like some other people would move quicker through the aid stations. We'd take our time, get what we need, At one of them, we had a popsicle. I mean, there's all sorts of good stuff.
You're now talking, so just seeing,
being very social, experiencing the whole thing.
Okay.
So
amazing. That sounds like a great time. Tell us a little bit about the finish, because again, I will reference your Strava. Everyone go look at Russell Ditsworth's. For those who don't know, you're the king of knowing who people are without ever meeting them, because you know them through Strava. So that is your social media.
I think so. Yes. I agree.
And so then there was a sprint finish. So we need to hear what went down and then who won.
Okay. So, maybe about 5 miles left, I put this idea into Stephen's head. I was like, hey, listen, when we get to the end, instead of just kind of jogging through the finish together, let's stop ahead of the finish line, and we'll kind of stretch out and just kind of get ready. And then let's just make it a sprint finish to the finish line. And so there's this kind of asphalt road, and they've got a sign over the top of the road that says Bull Run 50 miler. And Steve and I are like, that's got to be the finish line, because he didn't go through it when he went back through the aid station on the first double out and back. That's got to be the finish, right? So we stop ahead of this sign, and Stephen's wife Mel is videoing, and she's going, what are you guys doing? Why are they stopping? Are they okay? And I'm getting a little stretch in, and we're high-fiving a little bit, and so we ready, set, go, and we sprint maybe 50 meters in front of this sign, and Stephen immediately off the line is 5 yards ahead of me. I'm like, oh shit. I'm going to get beat by my brother.
Is Stephen more fast twitch than you?
I think so.
Or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say Stephen was always the better athlete. He's probably
Is he older or younger?
He is 4 years younger.
Okay.
Than I am.
Okay. All right.
He's taller. I would say he's probably more athletically gifted than I am.
Okay.
But I would.
I mean, don't poo-poo yourself.
I'm not
You're
poo-pooing
a
myself.
collegiate soccer player, so let's.
I did play. I played 4 years at Mines. Very proud of that, and was a good athlete in my time as well there. But he was right off the line ahead of me, and I'm like, oh crap. So I'm kind of just like at that point, I'm kind of just going right behind him at the same pace now, and I'm like, I got nothing more. This is as much as I have. And he jumps up and taps the sign and starts kind of celebrating, and then I realize that there's like a finish chute, like another 20 meters ahead. Nice. And so I sort of just continue. I'm like, we might have to go up there. Steven's kind of just like jogging a little bit now, and so I go by him. Nice. And then he's like, oh, wait. And so he kind of follows in behind me. And so I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. But when we checked the final results, I did win by 2 seconds.
All right. Very good. As it should be. You were hanging out with him all day and probably could have run that a lot faster. And you probably should have the win on that. So I think that ended up, I don't know.
It kind of worked.
There's some kind of euphemism there or something with
brothers.
I don't know.
Competition.
Him being like kind of going out hard, but like tortoise hair. I don't know.
Well, I did like that. So they posted photos of the entire finishing field, and Steven and I don't have a photo. We have a full-on video of the race director being like, "Oh my gosh, they're going to race! This is awesome!"
So you entertained the entire.
So we did entertain everybody there.
Amazing.
Got some good cheers. And for me, I thought it was way better than just kind of falling across the finish line there together.
Well, and there's not too many 50-mile races left around here in this.
People have been saying that, like, bring back the 50-miler, but I feel like there are some good 50-milers.
So here's go, 50-mile option.
Here's a good 50-mile option. Run Rabbit has a 50-miler.
That's true.
Run Rabbit was a 50-miler before it was a 100-miler. The OG is the 50-miler. Yes, I agree.
Lake Sonoma's still there.
Lake Sonoma's still there, but it's, and it was competitive this year. It was good. But like the old ones like White River and Ice Age, no one really, I mean, I think they're still around, but.
And the North Face is gone.
North Face is gone, right. So I think that's the reason why people say like, oh, what happened to 50 miles? It's a great distance. You can do it in a day. The cutoff at this race, Bull Run is 13 hours. And the whole point of the cutoff is they start you basically right at sunrise. You don't need a headlamp to start. You need a headlamp all the way up until the start, and then you don't need it. And then the finish is right pretty much at sunset. So they give you the full daylight hours to finish the race. Nice. And it is approachable because of the supportedness of the aid stations and how close they are. And
6,500 feet of climbing, not...
Yeah, 5,000 feet of climbing.
I mean, your Strava says 6,500.
Oh, I'll take it then. Strava says 65. I'll take it.
6,000 feet of climbing, which is not crazy for a 50-miler. Yeah, seems like maybe a good, I don't know, entry into the distance.
Very much so. Very much so. 50 miles is a great distance.
What shoes did you wear?
I wore the Nike Ultrafly.
And were you happy with them?
Happy with them all day.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Didn't change shoes.
And I heard you took a lot of Salty Mortal.
Salty Mortal was the
which flavor?
Electrolyte.
Mango?
Mango salty. So it's 920, I think, milligrams of sodium in those things, each one. And I would put it in a 16 ounce, so it was pretty heavily concentrated. Yeah. And sometimes I would just drink it all at the aid station while Steven was doing whatever he was doing. And I wouldn't have to drink it on the run. Yeah. I could just drink water or something else on the run.
Mortal
was great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And I'm sure many memories that, I mean, I don't know, when I look back at all the races I've run, it's all about the people that you either run it with or around. And so I'm sure that it's, going to be something that you just can remember forever.
Yeah, it's going to be a great memory. And even if Steven ultimately decides never to do another ultra again, I will be a little sad. I'll be very happy if he decides to do something else as well, because I do think that this is something that we could continue to do.
Have you asked him yet? How far?
He recovered so well. So he actually came out and visited in Colorado a week after, and we went on a run 1 week to the day afterwards. We went and did 5 miles, and He seemed great. I mean, he seemed like he was recovering better than I was.
Nice.
So, I think he definitely like anyone does in their first ultra. Like you struggle with fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I've never been this tired from running before, and it's like it hurts, and it's like but you're still trying, and you're still going, and you're still striving, and I think he had some great success with it, and I hope that the experience was good enough that he might want to do it again.
Yeah, sounds like you did everything to make it that way, and we will keep everyone posted on whether or not it becomes an annual tradition for you guys to run an ultra together. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Great.
Okay,
let's shift to your race, which was a week and a half ago at this point.
Yes.
So like 10 days ago.
Yes.
You ran the Gorge Waterfalls 100k.
Yes, free trail and daybreak racing, Gorge Waterfalls 100k, which has been revived. This is the third year back from it having a multi-year hiatus when there was a major fire and the course got damaged.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, why was there a major fire in this area? Because it's so like wet all the time. And my husband, Graham, everyone knows him, who is Mr. Weather Guru, says, Corinne, sometimes if it doesn't rain for a while, then you get these massive, it creates kind of a wind tunnel in that canyon area, basically. And there's so much vegetation that it can just, go up like that and just spread like crazy because there is a ton of vegetation and you get one crazy light wind. Whatever. There's a technical term that I don't remember right now. But anyway, so it was, it's cool that it's come back. It used to be a golden ticket race before Daybreak and Free Trail took it over. This year it was a world's qualifier race, which is really cool. And it's one of the most beautiful parts of the country that I've ever visited. It's like, people describe it like Jurassic Park-ish. I think of it kind of like a fairyland, like if fairies lived somewhere, this is where they would live. Like little gnomes and fairies and there's moss everywhere and there's literally just huge waterfalls all over the side of the mountain. And you're just running up in that mountain, and then on the opposite side of you, you have the Columbia River, which is huge. It's like a majorly massive river. So it's a really unique environment, and it feels kind of quaint and small, but you definitely get enough climbing, and you basically just ascend and descend the side of the mountain of the Columbia River Gorge for 62 miles.
So you were at this race 2 years ago and brought a group from Castle Rock Run Club to run 100k and 50k. Were not able to participate in a run, in a race that time, and supported the athletes that came.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that, and tell us a little bit about what motivated you to put Gorge 100k on your schedule this year, and how does it fit into your schedule?
Okay, so 2 years ago, Castle Rock Run Club, we made it kind of one of our destination races, and there was a big group of us. Number of people did their first 100Ks there. Our good friend Dave Leung lived in Portland for 7 years or something. So he was really anxious to show us this part of the country and take us to some restaurants and his old stomping grounds. And he's just like, guys, you're going to love it, So we all go out there and it's rainy, misting the whole time. And he's like, this is exactly what it's supposed to be. This is how it is. And that year, we had friends who did the 50K. A number of people that did the 100K, and I was able to crew and kind of just check out the environment, which was great. Obviously, I didn't run too much on the course. I did run a little bit. So I knew that it was not smooth. This is not California carpet. This is fairly there's a few smooth sections, and there's a few kind of respites where you're on a road for a couple of miles. But otherwise, you actually really have to pay attention to your footing, and it's quite rocky and off camber, and sometimes just tiring.
Yeah.
To be running through, because you are trying to run through it quick, fast, because there's not a ton of climbing.
Terrain underfoot more so than twisty turny, or both?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both, but I'd say more terrain underfoot. Like just you can see in some of the pictures from Free Trail, there's this one section that is just like the rock looks black, but it's just a rock field.
Oh my goodness.
And there are various sizes of rocks. Yeah. So you're just going over it, and then there's a waterfall, and so everything's wet, and it's also slick, and there's a pseudo bridge, but it's really just a pallet of wood that's laid down. Some people chose to go through the water around it because they didn't know if it was going to be slick. Famously this year, Addie Bracey slipped on that, fell on her hand, and ended up breaking her hand. Oof. So there is, there's definitely like some opportunities to kind of to fall down, to trip up. And I was highly impressed with how fast people ran over the terrain, especially people like Adam Peterman, who I saw.
And really all distances, 30K, they are absolutely flying. 50K is fast. And this year, the 100K, it didn't seem like they necessarily are recognizing some of the course times from prior to Free Trail taking it. I know they changed like the start finish. They made some changes to the course enough to where the recognized course record was Vincent Bouillard's time.
Correct.
And Adam Peterman pretty much destroyed it.
Yeah. Nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely wild to go under 8 hours there.
Yeah. Sub 8 hours, and that's all running like 8:20. So it was,
and Shay ran.
And Shay,
the course record
like 14 to 16 minutes, something like that. So it was a very fast year. I do think part of that was because of the weather. It was amazing weather this year. So really like mild, cold, chilly to start, no rain. Actually, a couple of really quick, random little showers.
And it cooled off. Yeah.
It was awesome.
So how did Gorge fit into your schedule?
Yeah, so I wasn't going to do Gorge when I was first thinking about the plan for the year. And then I realized after Black Canyon, I don't know, I had a little bit of a window, and also trying to balance this with my travel for work and other races that I'm attending to pace or like support feed athletes. So I decided, hey, I might do it. And I was able to reach out to Dylan, and he was able to get me in the race, which I truly appreciate. And I thought of it as a great opportunity to like go back and run it because I wanted to run it before. World's qualifier. I mean, why not? There's only one opportunity every couple of years for that. And then also to get some some taste of the Pacific Northwest, because I do have a bigger race in that general area later this year, Cascade Crest 100.
I love it. Well, you mentioned the world's qualifying race, and so I'll ask you, how were you approaching this race from a competitive mindset?
Well, I think, there were a number of people that ended up not starting or dropping off the start list that I felt like maybe, I don't know, I thought maybe I was going to have a little more opportunity as it came closer to race day to be competitive in the field. I would say it wasn't the number one objective. The number one objective was like run a thorough 100K, practice fueling, practice just the distance, running that whole time, try to get a, good training stimulus in, honestly. But of course I wanted to compete. So I don't know. I think I didn't have like a ton of confidence going into race day, and maybe I would have run differently if I had had some confidence inspiring workouts in the 3 weeks leading up. But I'm actually pretty happy with how I ran, because I was able to move up throughout the whole day, from 23rd to 7th. At the end, I ended up sandwiched between Addie Bracey and Brittany Peterson.
That's good company.
And I feel like those two women are just absolutely incredible athletes. So I feel pretty good about that. I will say, I was hoping that some of the less 100K plus distance experienced women in the female field might come back. That was kind of my thought, and they didn't, because everyone's figuring this out. Fueling, pacing, everyone has smart coach. My coach coached like 2 of the top 3 women, so I think that everyone's getting really smart about it, and we are getting a lot of fast athletes who are stepping up in distance and doing pretty well at it.
Yeah.
Which I think is what happened this year. I mean, 6 out of the top 10 fastest times run on the men's side were this year, and 4 of the top 10 fastest times. Yes, a little different course. But 3 women went under the previous course record this year too.
Yeah, and those 3 women were Shea Aquilano, Jade Belsberg, and then Claire Rhodes. And so Jade not representing the United States means that Claire and Shea took the automatic spots, and I think well deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, ran great races.
They
Claire's, one of her first 100. Was it her first 100K?
I think it was. Yes, it was her first 100K.
Ran great races, and excited to see them represent the USA with those automatic spots.
Yeah. When I think of Claire Rhodes, I think a winner of Mount Marathon.
Yeah.
And it's exactly. Like, whoa, this is quite different, but she crushed it. Absolutely. And so did her partner, Trace and Mount, who also got a spot.
Yeah. So Trace and Adam on the men's side.
Mm-hmm.
So some really great selections, and they printed out red, white, and blue tickets.
Yep.
So
that's fun.
Not golden tickets, red, white, and blue tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We're not looking at Western. We're looking at a Worlds team.
Yep.
So kind of a cool keepsake or something to show with pictures and things.
Yeah, I love it.
So that's great. I know you weren't out there with family or with Run Club, but you did have support from athletes and some people that you know. So shout out your crew, what they did to support you. There was no pacers allowed at this race, which I'm curious on your thoughts on. Mm-hmm. Kind of unique for 100K in the US.
Yeah.
And you were there with these athletes. So shout them out and tell me how they supported you.
First of all, shout out to Justin Kraft, who is a Colorado Springs friend and someone I have coached for multiple years, 4 years, something like that at this point. He was out there racing, and I stayed with them. I originally had reserved this tiny house.
Okay. Like a literal tiny house?
A literal tiny house. Because there was nothing available, because I ended up deciding to do this so late. But I found this tiny house, and I was really excited about it. And then I was like, as I got closer, I found out they had a room available because one of their friends wasn't going to come. And I was like, you know what? I would like the tiny house, but it's always good to be around people.
It is.
It really is. It just
to share
helps.
The race with somebody. Yep.
So I decided to stay with them, the Crafts, and their whole family was there, and they're awesome. They're just great people. And so that was huge. And they basically supported me all weekend. Erica cooked for me. Nice. It was great. And then Matt Hoadley, Free Trail, because this is a free trail race, I do lead the Free Trail Femmes group still every 2 weeks on calls. I know a lot of that community. So there were a lot of other friendly people. There were people cheering for me throughout the race who I didn't know who they were. I'm sure they were Free Trail, but they were calling my name, and I was like, that's so cool. It made it feel like a community event.
Yeah. But
Matt Hoadley, I also coach him. He ran the 50K on Sunday. He also volunteered on Friday.
Okay.
During the 30K.
Wow.
And so
he was on his feet a lot.
He was very busy, and he crewed me, and he did an amazing job. And he's like, this is the most important part of the weekend. I'm like, no, it's not. It's your race. I think he was a little nervous about it because he was like, God, I'm going to screw this up. And no, he did amazing. He was there whenever I needed him. There was one time I didn't get a gel for a 5-mile section, but I just used what was on course. It was all fine. And then he went above and beyond, and I was having this eye issue where I think my contacts were just dry. And he went and got me eye drops in the middle of the race.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So I was like, for the next day, you could try to find some eye drops. So he went and bought some. Anyways, he crushed it. And not to spoil the very end, but I did end up going into the med tent afterwards. We can talk about that if you want. And he was there kind of with me and basically took care of me for the hours after the race as well.
Wow.
So he was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, it was huge.
I have heard that it is a fun race to crew because it's fairly accessible.
Yes.
You drive the road to the different areas.
Yep.
It's not not a lot of driving.
Yep.
You know, it's in areas that have service and things like that.
Yeah, it's easily accessible. I will say that there is a good long stretch without, you go about 27 miles without aid. So a lot of people did the same thing I saw that I did, where I didn't start with a vest, and then at mile 6 I actually picked up a vest because that was a crewable aid station. Whereas at Black Canyon, you go to mile 7 and you just blow right through it.
Yeah.
At here, I was like, this is a crewable. This is where I'm gonna pick up my vest for the next 4 hours basically of running.
Yeah, it must, and it feels good to start kind of light.
Yeah.
And you know,
and you can finish light too. You can drop your stuff with crew 3.5 miles from the finish.
Cool.
So you can also just finish.
What a fun setup.
Yeah,
a fun
it's
setup.
it's a blast, and all of the volunteers, everybody's amazing. And Yassine Daboon, had a good chat with him on Friday or on Sunday. He runs the Cascade Locks aid station, and it's always like a party out there and just a great vibe.
What was the theme?
He was tuxedo again, but they had instead of a chocolate fountain, because apparently the chocolate gets too cold and it doesn't really move, they had a pickle juice fountain.
Oh, nice.
So it was very good. Like I didn't partake during the race, but the next day I had like a pickle from the pickle juice fountain.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
They always have music and everything.
So Ultra Uncovered featured this race. So
Yes.
if you haven't seen that episode and you're interested in this race, definitely go back and take a look at that. But I'm curious, what did you take from prior course knowledge or from your research in our Ultra Uncovered episode that you felt like played to your advantage or that you noticed while you were out there?
Yeah, it was really helpful to re-listen to that and listen to it like with just a couple times and closer to the race. I mean, I remember Keely mentioning that, like, you know, it's pretty easy to fall on this course. Like, wrong step here or there. I caught myself 3 or 4 times. I never went down. But I did look down, like, halfway through, and I had blood coming from my knee. And I'm like, I didn't fall. Where did that come from? And, you know, you do go through, like, some
like
bushes,
a branch or
something like that hits you. I remember her saying that, you know, you can run fast on the downhills. That's definitely the case. I think just being sea level, it feels fast in sections, which is pretty fun. And then it's just a matter of monitoring to make sure you're not burning yourself out. So I think we did a great episode to prep. I mean, carrying, you know, potentially rain gear or at least just bringing it to the event, I think is a good idea. And the fact that, like, I knew that more of the runnable stuff was in the second half of the race, and I actually like got like a third on Strava crown for the second 50K of
that's pretty good
of Gorge, which was my goal, was to be able to run that.
Well, and that shows that you pace yourself well and that you put yourself in a position to run well later. Yeah. And if other people faltered, then maybe you were there to pick that up. I mean, less people are doing that now, but at the same time, like, you put yourself in a position to run your best race. Yeah, so, I think so. Yeah. So tell me about one piece of gear and one nutrition product that particularly stood out to you in terms of working well.
Okay. So gear wise.
Well, what shoes did you wear? We always want to know.
I wore the S-Lab Ultra 3s.
Okay, S-Lab Ultra 3s. Okay.
Solomon S-Lab Ultra 3s, my go-to. It's the OG Courtney shoe. I think she's moved on to the S-Lab Genesis now, but I'm still at the S-Lab Ultra 3. It was great. My feet didn't hurt at all during the race, which is huge for me.
Awesome.
They hurt afterwards, but I think everybody's feet hurt after a race. So I was happy with the shoe choice. I think gear-wise, like, in Gingy socks, been working great for me. So here's my gear choice. What I figured out for me, the best thing for my feet to prevent blisters is a ton of squirrel's nut butter and toe socks and Gingies.
Okay, so no pre-tape, but pre-lube and toe socks. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's been
good, and I think that's something I'll take into Cascade Crest as well. And then nutrition-wise, I did a lot of different things, and on the Shalvoy Running YouTube, we did a little recap at the end of all of my nutrition if you want to see everything I took. But I would say that I'll shout out the Victus gels because I don't think I've talked about those. I I had 3 or 4 different gels, Precision, SIS, Betas, but Victus, I like the flavor. It's a 45-gram gel. It's lemon. And so some of the other ones that are like neutral and not flavored, it's kind of nice to have a little bit of something.
Consistency comparison, more like an SIS or more like a Intervit, like a liquidy?
Ooh, good question. For the true nerds out there, it's probably between an SIS and an Intervit.
Okay,
it's pretty.
We do need a scale of like.
Yeah, it's not liquid, but it's
Goos at one end, Intervits on the other.
or goo liquid gel.
Or goo liquid.
Yeah, goo and goo liquid gel. Yeah, I would say it's a nice thin consistency.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. All right, so you finished in 7th place.
Yeah.
Like you said, sandwiched between Addie Bracey and Brittany Peterson.
Yeah.
I would say towards the end of the race, you were closing the gap on Addie, and I think when she smelled the barn, she got a little extra motivation at that point, and the gap might have gotten down to maybe 3 or 5 minutes, and I think by the end it was maybe a little bit more than that. But regardless, you're still just a handful of spots off of that USA team. I would say you were in the mix for it.
Top 10, I'll take
what are your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on that?
I think this warrants a longer conversation, probably something I need to actually like write about, because
I like it.
This started CCC 2021 for me when I was 25th, but my time would have put me in the top 10 the year before. And it really speaks to kind of how the sport's evolving. And so I think that for me personally, like I have to kind of reassess like what is success for me in these races. And I think that this was a successful race, maybe other than the last couple of miles. I had a really hard time and I kind of hit a wall at the very end, and I still want to be able to close one of these long races like really solidly. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that I've had that yet, except maybe Black Canyon a couple of years ago. Even Javelina, I felt like I was, fading a bit at the end. I don't know. I feel like it was successful, and I think on my best day I might have been able to run it, 20 to 30 minutes faster overall, but I'm really happy with it. And I think amongst that field, it makes me, I don't know, feel like I'm in a good spot in training right now this year.
I mean, I think if you look at the last 12 months, you've objectively had very, very good results. And, maybe you might argue that the Javelina result is a little bit better than the Gorge result, but you combine those things together, and my question is, did you submit a resume for Team USA in Spain?
Sure, why
yes,
not?
Thank you.
I mean, I did. Of course, like, why not?
Absolutely.
And I actually was not going to, but then I think I heard Jeff Colt on Single Track say everyone should submit if they want to, and I figured, why not? I highly doubt I would get selected, but the worst that can happen is I don't, and I don't know. I mean, I was the first master. I'm not going to have that many more opportunities to actually submit for something like this.
You were the first master by a very, very large margin. Yeah. I think only actually one male master finished ahead of you.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool.
So you were second overall master.
See, the sport's getting younger. It's just like not fair. But yeah, I did submit, and I don't know. I think that team's being announced at the end of it.
Okay, fantastic. That was going to be my other question, because I know that they moved they were going to allow resume spots all the way into like the summer at some point, and there was a group that really encouraged the team to announce it earlier and help the athletes basically develop their schedule. They can either take it off or leave it on, and it just helps everybody.
Totally.
So I think it was a really good move.
It'll be interesting to see how many of the resume spots go to people who ran Gorge and how many go to people that did not. Because, I mean, that's just interesting to know. But I think right now, like, it's shaping up to be a really awesome team. So it's going to be cool. It'll be cool to follow anyways.
Everyone that I've heard talk about it has talked glowingly about being a part of Team USA.
Yeah, and it's in Canfranc, Spain. I lived in Spain for 6 months. I'd love to run out there. And from the course profile, holy moly, it looks like Uray. Like it's like I can't remember it's like a it's like a 50 miler with 18,000 feet of climbing,
Well,
or
just
something
all
like
the more reason to get the team named so that those people can put that as a major piece in their training plan all the way going up to it.
For sure.
So how's recovery going for you?
Okay, I'll be quick on this. It's not going great.
You're only 10 days out, so it's okay for it not to be going great.
It was okay, and it was better day by day. And then I was supposed to run. I ran 4 miles and felt like total crap. And then the next day I got a major cold, which I haven't been sick for years. And so I've kind of just been chilling and taking it day by day. And yeah, you might hear me cough a couple times on the podcast here, but there's some lung butter.
It's just post ultra hack. Don't worry.
No, it's not. Come on.
Track hack. It's post ultra hack.
I hope not. But it's coming back around. I mean, I'm healthy. Like I didn't injure myself in any way. Body seems to be just tired, which is normal. So I'm
totally normal.
Pretty
and have
encouraged.
up and down days.
Yeah.
Totally
I know that it's non-linear. All ultra recovery is non-linear.
Yeah. I've found that myself. I've had some great days, and I've had some days I'm like, oh, yep, I'm just gonna mail it in today and try again tomorrow.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
So last question.
Okay.
Looking ahead to Cascade Crest, which you mentioned, are you letting yourself kind of dream about like what that's gonna be? And is there anything from Gorge that you're like, ooh, yeah, I want to incorporate this, or I found out this about myself in Pacific Northwest Trails that either I like or I want to think about for Cascade Crest?
So I think I'll first say that during Gorge, and I think it's important to say this because I think a lot of people have this feeling, I both had periods of time when I was like, I absolutely love this sport. I love what I'm doing right now.
Yes.
This is the best thing in the world. I feel so awesome. It's my favorite thing to do. And then there was a couple times in the race when I was like, I'm quitting the sport. I'm done. I don't like running for this long. How am I going to run another 100 miler that's even longer? And I mean, then I tried to eat a gel because usually it's just you need some food. But like seriously, in all seriousness, there was a time when I was like, during this race, when I was like, I don't know if I want to run Cascade Crest. And I'm just being honest. That changed pretty quickly afterwards, after a few days after the race, that I, kind of started to get excited about it again. I think I'll just continue to try to build, and then obviously I'll try to work. I'm going to do a lot more vert and a lot more climbing because Cascade Crest has some big climbs and I need to get stronger. So my strength training routine starts next Monday when I'm going to Orange Theory and making somebody strength train me for 45 minutes straight. Getting stronger is probably like the number one goal, and then just trying to get some mountain lengths going.
I saw Joe, maybe it was Joe McConaughey, I think. It was somebody that was doing, they were on a treadmill and they had like an ergo, like the ropes.
Yeah.
And they had it set up where it was like, it was working those muscles for
the pulse. Yeah.
And I'm like, that is genius because you are walking uphill steep and getting that resistance. Because I was like, man, that's a great setup.
Yeah. Something like that. All right.
Very smart. Okay. Well, cheers.
Congratulations to you too. Successful completion of 50 and 62 mile long races. And we're going to do a little kind of just mini bonus here with some talk about canyons because it's happening later this week.
All right.
2, 1, go. All right. I'm not doing any introduction. We're just talking about our picks for the canyons, 50K and 100K. Graham Shalvoy, welcome back to Ultra Uncovered.
Thanks for having me. I'm surprised you had me back.
Okay. This is the super fun, special bonus part of the episode where we talk about canyons. And because there's not going to be any live stream, we might not know what's happening in the race, but we can still talk about our predictions. And let's start with the fact that Mr. Russ Ditsworth is 100% in participation of fantasy free trail events for 2025.
I am 16 for 16 right now. We're coming up on a pretty big weekend because there's also Golden Trail World Series going on, the second of the
Okay.
Chinese races.
So
Or
the
this one might be in either Japan or China. It's their Far East section of races.
Okay.
Sarah Alonso won the Golden Trail there. Patrick Kimiego also won.
Yeah. Oh, they won Kobe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kobe.
that was huge. And Great Wall Trail is happening.
Yep.
Okay.
So 4 events. So I'm hoping some people forget out of the top 100 and I can start scooting my way higher and higher. I'm ranked number 67 right now. I'm in the top 100. And my goal is to pick every single week because I think that might be the key to getting higher in this ranking. So I'm higher than Dylan right now. I'm not higher than Liam or Travis.
Have you looked against Leah? She's really good at this.
She's not in the top 100. She must have forgotten.
Oh no. Come on, Leah, get back on the game. Graham, how many fantasy events have you participated in this year?
Not enough.
One. I've thought about it a lot.
Thought about it a
Well,
lot.
my petition is for, and I think they'll do it for Western states. They'll do a full top 10. But my petition for next year is for Black Canyon to have top 10s in the 100K. Don't limit us to 5. We got to pick top 10 at Black Canyon.
Maybe
Well-
they say any World Trail major you should be top 10.
World Trail
Yeah.
Major. I don't, no. There's some, like MUIT, I think, Madeira Island Ultra.
That's a huge race.
It's a huge race, but how deep is it? I don't know.
It can be deep.
Okay.
It can.
Isn't it the same weekend as Western?
Yes. No.
No, that's Lava Rado.
Lavaredo.
Lavaredo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get all those island races mixed up. Yeah, I've got a hot take for a budding race director. If you're going to have a race and you've got dreams of having it a golden ticket race, naming it something like a canyon, gorge, black, any of those are, that's a good way to
It's a
start.
good start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Waterton Canyon could be one.
The Waterton Canyon qualification race.
There's a 50-mile race you know it could be done.
There could be one in the Black Canyon of Gunnison.
There it is.
Yeah. All right.
Make it real confusing.
Cool. They're doing a prediction for Twisted Forks,
Yeah.
but
The
only for
68K.
the 30K on here right now.
Only the 30K.
The 68K is. I was considering the 68K. I don't know. Still might. But anyways, all
We should
right.
probably go on topic.
Here we go. We're back on. We're
Canyons.
back. Canyons. Let's start with the 50K.
Not Black Canyon, not gorges, canyons.
Not gorge.
It's just gorge.
just
Is there only
gorge.
one?
It's just gorge,
Singular.
not gorgeous. Graham adds an S to the end of everything. Black Canyons. It's the Black Canyon Ultras.
Wait, so it's Western State?
All right. Canyons 50K. We're going top 5s
You go ahead and start. I don't
on each side. You deleted it again.
You just go ahead and hit that submit button.
All right. The Canyons 50K, which I feel like is turning into the race where everyone who's already in Western states is racing. So there's a really good field, but a lot of them are already in Western states, or
Some
they're
doing the 100K.
or they're like, there's some doing the 100K. I don't know. I just feel like it's like, it is becoming very,
When I heard Rod was scheduled to run the 50K.
yeah, and is now running.
And then
100K.
is now running the 100K.
Why? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh, I heard he gave Brett Hornig a quote that said, and because Katie did not start her triple
Oh, without
a
you
50K.
you can't do a
Can't do the
triple.
Katie triple.
You can't do the Katie triple
Yeah.
without winning Canyons 100K
Yes.
first. First
Yeah.
things first. Step 1.
apparently.
Win Canyons 100K.
Yeah. Okay.
50K.
Yeah.
Women.
50K women. Tabor Hemming's winning the race. She
Okay.
just ran a 4:04 at Big Alta. She's really fast, and this kind of course, I think, suits someone like her. Jen Lichter's getting second. Heather Jackson's in third because she always surprises me, and I think she's going to just rip it. Hannah Allgood is in fourth, and Kim Schreiber is in fifth.
Ooh. I got 4 out of 5 of those.
Me too.
names.
Different order?
I have a completely different order.
Ooh, go Russ.
So I have Tabor in third. I have
Think
both.
she's going to lose a shoe or something?
I have both Hannah beating Tabor and I have Jen Lichter winning.
So go 1 through 5.
So
Jen
1 through
Lichter.
5, Jen Lichter, Hannah, all good. It says Ozowski in,
Ozowski,
free,
that's her.
in free trail.
That's
so
still in.
just so you know,
Yeah.
Hannah O is the same as Hannah Allgood. Tabor in third, Heather Jackson in fourth, and then I have Peyton
Oh yeah.
below in fifth.
Okay.
Just another flyer,
Yes.
just like pick somebody who's, maybe people might not think of
Yeah,
as.
Peyton's fast.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you have 4 of the 5?
In the same order.
Okay.
So Tabor Hemming, because she's fast, and she ran a 4:04 at Big Alta. And Jen Lichter, because she's very fast. Heather Jackson, Hannah, and then I've got Valerie Arsenault.
All right. I like it.
Okay. Let's go to the guys.
Okay, Graham, you can go first so that we don't steal your thunder.
Thank God. I got Eli Hemming, because he is on a heater, is what Dylan says.
Mm-hmm.
Jesh runs small. I call him Jesh when I talk to him. Matt Daniels, third. Seth Ruling, and then Drew Holman.
Okay.
Ooh, so you got a heavy Boulder boy.
I do, yeah.
Top 5.
Yeah.
I've only got one Boulder boy in my top, unless you call Eli a
I only have
honorary
one.
Boulder boy.
I don't
only
think
have
so.
one too.
You only have one?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll go second. I've got Drew Holman, my Boulder boy, in 5th. I've got Cade Michael in 4th.
Tell us about
Trail
Cade.
team athlete.
Oh yeah, Cade.
Young guy
Didn't he get he got the Gold Hill segment with
with Andy Wacker.
Andy Wacker?
Yeah,
That's
he and Andy
Took it
Wacker
from
really
David.
took it
I
from
didn't
David.
realize he was running.
He's also the
Okay.
winner of that the UTMB race that ended up replacing the Gary Robbins race. He won.
He
won-
raced it?
He won one of the distances there.
Oh,
at
Jimmy
UTMB.
Whistler.
So he's got some longer stuff in his legs. A lot of the trail team athletes are short trail
Yeah.
athletes, but
Oh.
like Shay and Cade and a few of these other ones are doing some longer ultras.
Mhm.
I've got Eric Lagerstrom in 3rd. So he's triathlete, ran well at Black Canyon 50K. I think he was 2nd or 3rd there.
Mhm.
And then I've got Eli in 2nd, losing to Jesh Run Small.
Really?
So
Wow.
Jesh has run fast the start of this year, and he is keen on 50Ks. He's absolutely smoked the Salida Run Through Time Marathon,
Mhm.
and then ran great at Black Canyon. And
Did he
I
win
mean,
Black Canyon?
yeah, he
50K?
won Black Canyon
Okay.
50K. So I think he's of the Western trail, the trail team, but really, I mean, just a supremely good trail runner and athlete in his own right.
Is the triathlete guy that he mentioned, is that the guy we...
Eric Lagerstrom. Yes, Paula Finley's.
Yeah. We had dinner
Significant
next to them at a restaurant at Western States. I
Yeah.
had no idea who we were, and we're like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" Like,
Like,
"Oh, we're
triathlon.
triathlon."
We're
Oh,
pro-
people, and like later, we told somebody else, "Hey, we sat next to these people," and they're like, "What?" Like sitting next to Drew Walmsley.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
I think Joshua Small is getting 5th in this race.
Okay.
I think Eric Lagerstrom's getting 4th. I'm going to go with Cade. I think I'm going to switch to Cade for 3rd. I had John Luna Lima in 3rd.
Okay.
But I failed to see that Cade was in there, and I do think he's solid. I think Matt Daniels is getting 2nd to Eli Hemming.
Cool. Yeah, I like the Matt Daniels pick. If I wasn't seeing some weird Strava posts of him, maybe considering running it or not running it, but anytime he lines up in a 50K, you got to consider Matt is probably one of the best 50K runners.
He's so good at it.
He's so good at that distance. He just lock in at 6-minute pace and just go.
And it's just as a question of there's like 4 or 5 others that do they line up? Do they blow up?
Yeah.
Where you could mix and match. So anyways, it's a good field. Cool. Okay.
100K.
How do you feel about Canyon's 100K and 3 tickets?
So Canyon's 100K is what I'm calling a super golden ticket. And I'm pretty sure they've used that term. So what was it? CCC was 3.
Mm-hmm.
Black Canyon's 3. Canyons is 3 tickets. CCC, I got no complaints. One of the best fields at that distance in the world. It's a championship race. Black Canyon goes 50 deep on either side. Early season, golden ticket. I think it's where ideally placed where you would want to have that effort with 100-mile in mind for the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rod has shown that you can go do canyons and do really well at Western. So maybe it's not as close as it feels to me. But
Equally, many people have
not
done the
done well.
opposite.
Exactly. And just when I looked at the list for canyons, I just felt like the depth wasn't as much as it was at like Black Canyon. I'd rather have 4 tickets at Black Canyon and 2 at Canyons.
So the depth is shallow.
The depth is
Depth
shallow.
is not deep. No, I mean, there's still awesome runners that are in there. And the people that get golden tickets are going to be very well deserving. But I just think from an overall perspective, there were a lot of people that, you know, shot their shot at Black Canyon, and maybe they're not in one of these other fields. They're just, you know, they were going to give it one shot. They weren't going to go and chase the golden ticket all season.
So you're saying the people who do well at canyons can next year step up to Black Canyon?
No, I will not go as far as to call any race a JV race. Graham.
What a harsh term. Graham has got the harsh JV term. Okay. So I tend to agree. I don't know. I agree with that. I think I also just don't like that. I don't know. I don't like that it's downhill anymore.
You can't finish at China Wall. What kind of finish line is that?
It was
awesome.
A great finish. And it was a true test of trail running because you had to run through 4 miles of freezing slush and snow and mud. And I think that's really what trail running is.
Did you get poison?
No, I've never gotten poison oak. And I'm afraid to say that because I'm like, am I immune to it? I don't know what. And everybody is talking about that they got it. And I've never had it.
I didn't get it. And a bunch of people when I ran it got it.
I will say when I ran canyons, I wore calf sleeves.
Did you?
Okay. Or tall socks on purpose.
Reason?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't have any issues at Gorge, and some people got it from Gorge.
I mean, I didn't get it at canyons, and it was like 94 degrees, and I was in shorts and a t-shirt, so I wasn't protected at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm more scared of poison ivy and poison oak than I am of like the cactuses. That you can see the cactuses. Like if you run into a cactus, it's kind of your own fault. Like,
Tara, please don't take offense.
There's plenty of people that have run into cactuses. Don't worry. Yeah. A comb is the only required gear at Black Canyon. Okay, should we go and do the picks?
Okay, let's do it.
Graham, you want to? Wait, who went first last?
Graham did.
I think I did.
Okay,
you go rest.
So I'll go first on the women's side.
Okay.
So in 5th, I have McKendry Hickory.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just ran a little race with her.
Great runner. She's a little further down the list on the free trail list, just because I think that maybe her index score, like I don't know, maybe she just hasn't run some of the races that score high, but I think she's a really, really quality runner. A winner of the High Lonesome race last year. So I have her there. She's a little bit my flyer pick. She may be, in my mind, too gritty and like mountainy specialty for a race as fast as this, but I think she's an awesome. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. In 4th, I have a runner who's already in Western States, Priscilla 4G, who I think is using this as prep, and I think will do really well here. In 3rd, I have another runner in Western States, Emily Hawgood. And then in 2nd, I have Katie Asmith. And in 1st place, somebody who has been chasing a golden ticket all over, Erin Clark.
Wow.
This will be her 3rd golden ticket race in this, what I'm calling season, starting from Javelina last year. Javelina last year, 4th place and just outside. Black Canyon, just outside again. And I think that she will take the win here and do well.
Okay.
So I've got some people out that I know that I'm not listing, but those are my picks.
Okay. You want me to go?
Go for it.
All right. I think 5th place, I'm going to go with my good friend Katie Asmith. I hope she gets a ticket. I think she would in this lineup. 4th place, I've got Kareth Arnold. Body Brink sister-in-law, crusher. Really good at this kind of terrain.
Here before?
Yes.
At Canyons?
Yes, at Canyons.
So she's won a golden ticket at Canyons.
And then she was like 14th or 16th at Western. She and Lottie both had kind of tough days, but they still were in the top 20.
14th and 15th. I'd love to have a tough day and get that.
Yeah. I think Kareth is going to do well in 4th, getting one of the tickets. Priscilla Forgy in 3rd. Knows this course, runs well here. Western veteran, already in. Emily Hoggett in 2nd, already in, because Emily Hoggett is always a bridesmaid. And I think Marianne Hogan's winning the race.
Okay. Yep.
I
That's
also
one that I left out.
I also have a few people off that that could be in there for sure. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going.
All right. I've got Katie in 5th as well.
Okay.
I really hope she does better. I know she'd love to get a ticket, and I'd love to see it. Erin Clark, I have in 4th. Jasmine Lowther, I know she's kind of a question mark, but man, when she's on, she is really on.
She won the race you guys were talking about.
Uh-huh.
The year that
Wire to
we
wire.
ran.
Yeah.
Wire to wire, just like basically,
Yeah.
ran it really well.
Keely Henninger, she's a veteran. I think if she's in good form, she's going to be a force. And then Marianne Hogan, even if she's not in all that fit, I'm not sure, but she's just going to go rip it. And she always seems to kind of figure out a way to stick it, even if she like breaks her leg.
2nd at UTMB?
Yeah.
Yep.
Behind Katie?
Yeah.
No, 3rd. Ruth Croft was 2nd.
Right. Ruth, you
Yeah.
picked her up.
But Marianne's gotten 2nd.
She was in 2nd. She ran in 2nd for most of the day.
And she's just had amazing results. Gotten golden tickets in the past. So cool. Okay. Guys,
Want me to start again?
I'll start.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I am going 5th place. Justin Grunwald. His trainings looked really good. He's getting crowns all over Boulder, which is not an easy feat.
Yep.
I think he is going to do well. Brian Montgomery's taken 4th. Also in very good shape. And I think this course suits him well. Jeff McGavro, who's already in Western, is getting 3rd. Hans Troyer's getting 2nd because I think he's on a redemption tour and I just need Hans the Destroyer Troyer to do something well. I think he just has to put it together, but he's got the talent to do it. And then Mr. Francesco Pupi is going to win this race.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So no Rod in your top 5.
No Rod in my top 5. I don't know. I think I think maybe he'll go for it, and maybe he'll be like, not gonna stick it, so I'm gonna call it. Maybe that's just my prediction. I mean, he wants Western States is his objective, so
Sure.
I don't know if I don't know. I'm just rolling the dice.
Got it. All right, want me to go? All right. I also have Justin Grunwald in 5th. I also like him personally, so Anthony Costales in 4th. I think he is ready to have a good race. I think he was hurt a little bit ago, but I think it looked like he was doing well now.
He got 2nd to Matt Daniels at Behind the Rocks 50K.
Okay, got it. Francesco Pupi in 3rd. I hope he doesn't shit the bed. Zach Miller in 2nd.
Zach beating Francesco.
I think he's going to line up, turn and look at everybody and say, see ya.
I mean, that sounds about right. Okay.
And then I have Rod Farvard winning.
Really?
I think he wants to do kind of what Katie did last year, the triple.
And Rod's in great form. I mean, he ran that race on 9 trails, and his goal was to pace the Jim Walmsley course record there. He went well under it.
Really?
Well under
I
it.
didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And those are his home trails and stuff, but
Yeah.
like he's in form.
So I think one of the things to take into account for Rod is there's a lot of big stuff going on at Western States this year, right?
Yes.
There's all this movie and talk and a million people running it. David Roach is throwing these huge videos out. I think Rod's probably looking to go, all right, here's my huge video. I'm going to go win canyons, knock everybody out, and then scare the heck out of, or try to scare the heck out of everybody racing Western.
I mean, I think every golden ticket race we see Seth Ruling just, do really well at Black Canyon. We're like, oh, he's going to be a force at Western. And then we see Adam Peterman go under the course record, and we're like, oh my God, Adam Peterman is back. Yeah. And then we're like, Chianti, we get the people we want in. We get Vincent Bouillard back in. We get Killian back in. We're like, oh, okay, I guess it's going to be a Western.
And we see how good a shape Jim's in.
And we get to see how good a shape. Yeah, it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. All right, my picks. In 5th, I have Jeff McGavro. Already in Western, but great runner. Fourth, I have Zach Miller in fourth. I've got Francesco Pupi in third. In second, I've got Anthony Costales, and I would love to see him back on the Western States start list. And then in first, the Destroyer, Hans, the Destroyer, Troyer. You know, I think we missed seeing Hans at Black Canyon. He got sick.
Oh,
you know, but you didn't lose anything training wise. It's like you get sick like that, you just don't get to race, which really sucks. But I think he's got his eyes on this race now.
I agree.
And he's just been stacking. He's working with David. And so
is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, his training is on point.
My only worry about Hans is on race day. Does he go out and just let it rip because he's got this redemption in mind, wants it so bad, and he overshoots the beginning? That's my only worry for Hans.
He's going to be in the lead pack or in the lead to start, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he did that at Black Canyon, and he almost stuck it. He still ended up, But I don't know. That's kind of how you gotta race these things right now. It feels like so. Okay, so in your world, who would get the tickets on the men's side?
So in my world, Hans, Anthony, and Francesco would have a chance, but it sounds like he's not going to take it.
And so it would roll to...
So it would roll to Zach Miller.
Do you think he'd take it?
I don't know. I mean, has Zach ever won a golden ticket? My hot take is you should never not take the golden ticket at the race. You should always use your time to decide whether or not you're going to take it or not. I think it's a mistake to decide at the race to not take it.
So I think Francesco should also accept it and then...
Yeah, you should accept it and think about it for 2 weeks.
Take
if
it
doesn't
home,
want it, it rolls
buy
down.
it a special seat on the plane.
Yeah.
All right.
MK's rolled down, right?
It did.
Someone was talking about a golden ticket. How...
Yeah, they didn't want it. It was
Jeff Colt?
Yeah.
When he was saying that, I was like, oh boy, I can't believe you're talking about that. He was talking about he didn't want those large golden tickets.
Oh, he didn't want it as a keepsake.
It wasn't very sustainable. It's like, of all the things in ultra running to have as a keepsake, I'm not sure, other than a cougar, there gets much better than a golden ticket.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Can you think of another award in ultra running besides the cougar? Everyone wants a cougar.
Everyone wants a cougar. I mean, but UTMB, you
win.
You get a vest.
You get a vest. You don't even get a medal.
No buckle.
No buckle, no medal, no trophy.
No buckle, no pacers. What are they doing?
You might get a trophy. I don't know. But anyways, no, there's no other really iconic, except for the Crown King Scramble axe.
That's a Leadville thing, too.
No, there's also an axe
Leadville
at
Pan.
Crown King. It's a big axe.
Yeah, that's cool. And Javelina has the cool...
Oh, Javelina has the best.
Yeah.
So who gets the golden tickets in yours? Do you need to look? While you're looking? Okay, in my men's, it would be Hans, Ryan, and Justin. Hans Troyer, Ryan Montgomery, and Justin Grunwald, because Francesco Pupi declines it and Jeff McGavro's already in.
I think those people would love golden tickets too. That'd be a great group to get them. In mine, Zach Miller, Francesco sounds like he's not going to take it, although we'll see. And that would roll down to Anthony Costales and then Justin Grunwald.
Nice.
Which would be another good group of people.
Yeah.
And then who on your women's side?
Okay, on my women's side, it would be Marianne Hogan. She would take it, I think, and go back. It would be Kareth Arnold and Katie Asmuth, because Emily Hoggett and Priscilla Forgey are already in. Okay. So it would be Marianne, Kareth, and Katie.
Mine would be Marianne, Keeley, Jasmine.
And you're just top three, huh?
Top three?
Yeah, just top three. Good.
And mine it would roll down to 5 as well, because I have Emily and Priscilla in 3rd and 4th. So it'd be Erin Clark, Katie Asmuth, and McKendry Hickory.
That would be cool. Yeah, I mean, I do think this is one of the races where it is going to roll down probably on both sides. I don't know.
Not according to my picks.
Well, I'm not according to Graham's picks, but Graham's wrong.
Oh, my terrible.
So anyways, that's going to be kind of exciting to be like, oh, who took it? Who didn't? And how is it rolling? And if you're racing, like, if you're in like the top 8, you better stay in it.
Yeah.
Because it could go to 6 easy.
Well, and we mentioned the Boulder Boys in the 50K. There's also a Boulder Boy in the 100K. And Adam Mary has had some good training since moving back to Boulder. And he's also a previous Canyons 100K golden ticket winner.
But he didn't do very well at Black Canyon.
No, I think he was self-admittedly like kind of coming back to training.
Wait, did he run the
50K.
50K.
Yeah.
He still ran in the top 10.
He did, but
Right around where Max Joliffe was, I think. Or Joliffe.
I don't know.
He's a 200 mile. He won Moab 200.
Oh, really?
Satisfy athlete.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll see.
Also a fastie. But yeah, I mean, good point. There's like 5 on each side
That you could have
we
added,
didn't really mention. And I don't know, it's going to be cool. But that's
and if you want to spread hate and you're one of those people that didn't get called by us and you want to comment, feel free.
Call us out. Tell us why we should be in our fantasy picks.
Yeah. So we'll see how we do after, all is said and done. And hopefully this will come out. I think it'll come out on, what is today? Wednesday. It'll come out Thursday of race week. So people can listen before Saturday and then, I don't know, follow the race.
Somehow or
Somehow.
not. Just look at the results afterwards.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like
I'm not looking at the UTMB website.
I don't think Iron Far is going to do it. So I heard someone's going to be out there with a telegraph, ting, 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 to tell people, Morse code, to let people know what's going on within the race.
Machine. They're going to fax the results.
Fax
Maybe 2 weeks later. All right. Sweet. Well, that's fun.
That was fun. Thanks for joining. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining my podcast.
Fireroad episode in the books.
Yep.
All right.
Yay. Goodbye.